Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Adam Hidayat bin Azmi and my matric number is 11518881. So today I want to present my case review. The name is Nalaman and Karupanan. So we begin with the fact of the case. So the plaintiff loan the title of his land to the first defendant. So the first defendant said the purpose of his land to do some contract works. The first defendant later brought a document for the first plaintiff to affix her thumbprint on. Then the first defendant used the title of the plaintiff to as security for a loan obtained from the second defendant. And the second defendant lodged a landholder caveat over the land. So the plaintiff didn't satisfied with the first defendant action and brought a suit seeking. The plaintiff contended that the first defendant had failed to disclose the actual purpose of his taking the land to use as a security for a loan. Then the court allowed the plaintiff to appeal. First, there are three reasons. First, the first defendant did not disclose the actual purpose to the plaintiff that he wanted to use the title of the land as a security for a loan obtained from the second defendant. So the first defendant defraud the plaintiff in order to get the possession of the land. Second, as the possession of the title to the land was obtained by the defendant through misrepresentation, the deposit of title had never been authorized by the plaintiff at the first place. So there was insufficient proof of the alleged land to be created by the first plaintiff. The plaintiff had discharged the burden of proving that the title of the land had been wrongfully taken from the first plaintiff. Therefore, the landholder caveat wrongly lodged on the land. The caveat was removed, and cost for this action was to be borne by both the defendant. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Aiman Daniel. I will present to you the case of Paramo and Zedo, in which the subject matter of dispute is a land situated in Bukit Raja, named as Lot 703. So this case is, the facts of the case is the first defendant is the registered proprietor of the land, executes a mortgage and general charge in favor of the plaintiff, but the charge that they create was never been registered in the land office. So it was a term in the charge, of the charge in clause 6. The mortgager, the first defendant, further hereby deposit a title for the land concerned with the lender as a security for principal and interest, and the lender may lodge a caveat with the collector of land revenue to create a lien. Then a caveat was lodged by the plaintiff. So the second defendant was a contractor, in which in this case he is the appellant. So the appellant has obtained a judgment in the sum in another civil suit of the land, and has obtained an order from the court for order of sale by public auction of the said land. So respondent, the plaintiff in this case this is a case of court of appeal, and he is now as the respondent claim against second defendant that the plaintiff lien has priority of right, claim and interest over the appellant prohibitory order. So appellant has prayed respondent claim to be dismissed and the caveat be removed, claiming that the lien was void. The second defendant now now has appealed that the charge was not enforceable. As such, the lien either did not is void because the lien did not comply with the law, because there was no intention to create a lien as required by section 134 and 167 of the National Land Code. So the issue is whether the lien that has been created by the plaintiff has fulfilled the requirement under National Land Code. The second issue is whether the charge that are void will affect the lien, thus making the lien into unenforceable lien, or the lien was void. So a charge in this case, the judge has used or has applied the principle in case of Palaniappa Chetty Dupaya Brothers and another, in which it was stated that a lien is one of a special form of security. In fact, security is genus and lien is a species. It must be recognized that Section 80 of the Registration of Title Enactment introduced an exemption from the general principle of registration of title, that this section stands entirely by itself and it is an exception. So in this case, it is clearly that the lien is a separate legal statutory lien, and it has an independent existence apart from a charge. So if a charge is avoided, for non-compliance with the law under National Land Code, the lien, provided that it has fulfilled its requirement, so it is not void. So in this case, the court has dismissed the appellant appeal with cause, and it is clear therefore that the plaintiff lien has priority over the second defendant claim. That's all from me. Thank you.